The title of this talk, speaking of being directed and guided, is The Journey to Nowhere. As I do often, I ask what is mine to share. And when I received that title, I thought, interesting, because if you look at the spelling of nowhere, now, here. It's like, okay, I've seen that. I like that. The journey to now, here, nowhere. When we rely on the unseen aspect of the I am, source, God, that Holy Spirit to guide us toward what we do not see as our best and highest expression of life. This expression is showing us how to choose beyond appearances, beyond false beliefs of separation and lack, so that we can arrive now here, nowhere, exactly where we want to be. So I explored and was in my meditation asking, how is that? How does nowhere connect to now here? Often, the belief in separation has us looking for the manifestation of our desires and the fulfillment outside of ourselves, as some of us have been reminded already. Whatever it is, whatever desire, dream, aspiration, we're often desiring something not here. We create that false sense of separation, even in simple things like healing. Went to the doctor. I may look younger than I actually am, by the way. I went to the doctor, got an MRI, and they told me I had hip arthritis. I'm like, that's what that is. I was wondering what that feeling was, right? And what I wanted to manifest was the healing where I didn't feel that anymore, right? And I began to practice, use the practices, imagination, imagining myself feeling great, imagining myself feeling relieved, feeling free of the discomfort. Those are our practices that we know to use. The challenge becomes when I open my eyes and I go to run and I feel that discomfort, do I say in my mind and believe in the appearance? Or do I allow the predominant belief to be what I imagined? Because that's what the universe responds to. That's our power. That's our faculty. Do I create separation in continuing to believe in the information, in the appearance of things? Or do I choose instead, even in spite of the appearance, to deny that as the reality and recognize the truth? The true reality is the level of vibration and frequency, the level of sensation that I tap into through my imagination. That I am the master of that decision, of that choice, of that internal focus where I place my attention, power, and belief. So, the reality is the more I can stay in that feeling of now here, the healing now here, the more I'm entering the kingdom. No longer believing the carnal mind of appearance and physicality, but instead I have taken on the mind of the Christ consciousness, the oneness, that I am separate from nothing. That's the power. That's the gift. So how does that manifest? It can be anything, of course. I'm just giving you an example, as you know. But how does that manifest in our lives? What I've come to recognize is, just as the wonderful first principle of unity, there is only one presence and one power active as the universe, and in my life, God the good. Principle 2, our essence is of God, therefore we are inherently good. This God essence was fully expressed in Jesus the Christ, who said, what? You can go on and do these things and greater, right? Principle 3, we are co-creators with God, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. Now here, whatever you ask, it's yours. If you recognize how to receive, how to choose, how to create, how to accept, how to ask. What I mean by that, how to choose, how to ask, how to create. In the imagination, internally, how do we ask? When that desire arises, have you ever been in that situation where the desire arises, you're like, man, it'd be so nice to experience this, and you don't even think about it, no attachment. You just kind of feel it in that moment, and then it transpires soon after, right? You asked without any sort of attachment, blocks, resistance, or even the separation, belief in separation. You were just thinking of, oh, how nice would that be? Was there a feeling of desperation and lack? No, it was just like inspiration, like, oh, that would be so neat if this happened. I've had that happen many times, and suddenly it transpires. What's the difference? The difference is when we are in a state of not having, and it's not here now, that's creating the lack. And we're giving that wonderful communication to the universe through our subconscious, that feeling of not having, that feeling of incompletion. And we send that. And so what does the universe do? It responds to make sure to arrange our environment, our experiences, to match that predominant vibration, feeling, frequency. On the other hand, inspiration is that feeling of, wow, oh, this would be amazing. It activates our imagination. We feel it. We send that communication of having. What would it feel like to, wow, imagine this. Oh, that feels good. There's no separation, no lack. Now here, we put ourselves in that position. Oh, okay. The universe is always saying yes, whatever we're predominantly sending. So it goes out, and those things can manifest a lot easier without the blocks. So that's the simple application. Now let's get a little more pragmatic, if you will, when it comes to our world and what we're seeing today. The appearance of things from political, society, global, foreign affairs, things you see on the news happening all the time, relationships with this country and that country, this presidential candidate and that presidential candidate. We know those are areas that usually bring up nice feelings, right? Those feelings tell us where our predominant energy is. We had a wonderful time. Have you ever heard the rule amongst certain people, don't discuss religion and politics? Well, we discussed it all last night. Religion, politics, and beyond, and had a great time doing it. And what I think my wife and I have learned is, in those moments, passion can come up easily, from gun regulation to so many things, to what we teach our children, you name it. Passion can come up. What if we activate our imagination when that passion comes up and give ourselves what we want now and deny the power of the appearance of things, meaning, okay, we see this, but we're not going to invest our belief in this as the reality because we know there is only God the good. Because we know there is no separation. This is the appearance of things. What if we activate that imagination to begin seeing and feeling what we desire fulfilled? One of my dreams is to see a university campus built with sustainable energy, teaching our future generations new technologies, teaching them how to cultivate the land in powerful ways, learning the secrets of the universe and working with these wonderful things to pioneer new ways of being, doing, and having in an adjacent city designed to actually take care of our people from cradle to grave. No longer having families needing to decide, can I afford assisted living for my senior parents or medical care? Never needed it anymore. That choice never needing to be had anymore because it's provided, it's built into the social services. Now forget the why and the how. I don't need to figure that out. I'm just going to imagine the dream that this is how it is. So when our parents are elderly, they're still living in the neighborhood and there's someone taking care of them. And it's not an inconvenience, it's a blessing. And we're still being with them, not isolated somewhere, but they're part of the community, their wisdom being honored. I imagine and feel into that as the norm for society. That we're taking care of all of our people. No more separation, no more reservations, no more disowned, oppressed, but that we're united. And I feel into that vibration, that frequency. That feels good. Now, does that mean we put our head in the sand and ignore the appearance of things? No. But we can be present with this reality while simultaneously putting our belief, our energy into this that we imagine and making that the predominant vibration and frequency. And as we do that, there is a response. It's law. Things begin to happen. I can't tell you, since I clarified that dream and that vision, how many things have happened. The people we've been introduced to, people who are actually building communities in different countries already, using fractal technologies, things that have blown my mind. But when we tap into that power and begin to do that, what we're doing is aligning with the source of all good. And we're opening up to our faculties to get clear with what do we really desire. And the source is always saying yes. That's really what that song was about that we did before this. The I am is always saying yes. It's us that say no. But we forget how it works. Source isn't asking you to say yes to the world of form. Source is asking you to go within and say yes at the vibrational level in the kingdom. The vibration and frequency level, the sensation, the feeling level. So whatever it takes to engage that imagination and give that to yourself, sometimes it takes saying, help. I've got this conditioned way of being and thinking. I'm stuck in this limited, conditioned, skewed perspective of life where all I can see is division, separation, violence, oppression, hell, suffering. And I'm ready to transcend and see the oneness that is the reality. How can there be division, separation, violence, animosity, and harm in only God the good? Because the level of consciousness that perceives the separation is the skewed perspective and programming that believes in the appearance of things. The appearance of things is not the truth. If there is only God the good, why are there so many of us? Do you see one here? We see many here because that's the appearance. That's the more. That is the I am's right to create an experience of abundance. That's the more. But if we forget, which we all do by design, that this is not the reality, sometimes we've got to ask for help to assist us in transcending that level of separation so that we can see the beauty of this abundance. Even the conflict is just the appearance of contrast, working perfectly to create a virtual reality that blows our minds. Then we can access that I am consciousness that knows all is well and always is, despite the appearance, despite the sensation. All is well and always is. Principle 4, through prayer and meditation, we align our heart and mind with God. Denials and affirmations are tools we use. It's the practices we use. Prayer, meditation, that assist us in aligning with the source so our awareness can expand, we can transcend the limited conditioned thinking and access higher consciousness that knows all is well and always is, that knows there is no separation, and that knows everything you desire is now, here, the journey to nowhere. There's nowhere you need to go. It's now, it's here, yours for the asking, yours for the receiving. If you activate the principles, use the practices. Principle 5, through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. If there's only God the good, and I go outside and I am full of anger, resistance, judgment, am I living the truth I know? Not really. I'm choosing a different belief and thought pattern to believe in. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with it. It's not about judgment. It's about how does that feel? That's hell. That's suffering. Sometimes we call it suffering light. Doesn't feel like heavy suffering. It's tolerable suffering. Suffering light. And we love it. We love to suffer. That's part of the amazing journey. Why did we come as the I am, the essence of God itself, and forget so that we could experience the more and remember? It's part of the journey. The yin and the yang, suffering and alignment. Suffering is no more or less a noble teacher than alignment and enlightenment. But we forget. And once we've had enough, we access higher good. So, a simple reminder that we are here to thrive if we so choose. The challenge of being aligned from moment to moment, even if we get distracted, is simply to come back. Come back to your breath. To align with that source of who we are, the I am, and allow that power to expand your awareness so that you can experience transcending the suffering. You're not here to fight the suffering, resist the suffering, escape the suffering. You're here to relax, to surrender, to say yes, to align, allow, and let go. Namaste.